Good morning. Today I thought I would read from a book that I have that I offer people who ask me questions about diabetes. So I have this ebook that I give out free to people related to diabetes. The book is called 100 Questions and Answers about Diabetes, and it's by a doctor called Michael Breyer-Ash, MD. Michael Breyer-Ash, MD. And the ebook was written in 2011. Even though it was written that long ago, there's still the questions and answers are still, good. They're still good. They have not been outdated or anything. And so some of those questions, the answers to some of those questions, well, the majority of those questions are still correct. So I thought I would answer one of the questions in the book that I actually get asked a lot. And the question is, does diabetes affect all racial groups equally? So does diabetes affect all racial groups equally? All right. And the answer to that is no. Okay. There are significant, I'm going to read from the book. Okay. So that I don't miss anything. So the answer to that question is no. There are significant differences in the hereditary tendency to acquire diabetes. In general, Caucasians, non-Hispanic whites, have a lower tendency to develop type 2 diabetes than other ethnic groups. The situation with regard to type 1 diabetes is the opposite, which with the highest prevalence currently being in the region in and near Finland, Sardinia, and Kuwait. All right, so lifestyles does not appear to be more important than the hereditary tendency in developing the chance of a person getting type 1 diabetes. However, in the case of type 2 diabetes, it is an important factor. So lifestyle is an important factor when it comes to type 2 diabetes. But however, it's not important when it comes to type 1 diabetes. Thus, certain ethnic groups may have a very high tendency to develop type 2 diabetes under one set of environmental circumstances. But they may have a very low tendency under different environmental conditions. And then there is a case in point in the Pima tribe, that's P-I-M-A, tribe of Native Americans living in Arizona. Half of the Pima have type 2 diabetes. Half. All right. And so while they're genetically related cousins living in the Chipa region of Mexico, pursuing a non-urban lifestyle, have a low frequency of getting the disorder of type 2 diabetes. So the two most common and most important factors contributing to a high prevalence of type 2 diabetes in groups of high hereditary risk are weight gain and the lack of physical exercise. So for those groups who have a high tendency of getting type 2 diabetes, the problems arise because of their weight gain and because of their lack of physical exercise. So for people who are concerned about getting type 2 diabetes, it is important to look and see what you can do about lowering your weight and what you can do about increasing your exercise. You know, just 30 minutes a day of walking, which is not a strenuous exercise. All you have to do is have a pair of tennis shoes. Walking is one of the easiest and best exercises. Don't cost you anything. Okay? 30 minutes a day. And if you got to break that down to 2 15-minute segments or 3 10-minute segments to get your 30 minutes in, then do that. But you do have to keep your body moving. Mm-hmm. And if you are overweight, you do need to do whatever it takes to start losing some weight. But those people who are higher tendency hereditarily to get type 2 diabetes. Now, when I say hereditarily, most of the time I'm talking about, you know, maybe people in your family had it, your uncle, your aunts, your mom, your dad, you know, people, you know, from your community who you know had type 2 diabetes. Now, I personally think it's environmental, not necessarily hereditary, because we pass on lifestyle traits, you know, from one generation to the other. And so the way my grandparents ate most likely is the way that I eat, because that's how my grandparents ate. So it's an environmental thing, because that's the way you were raised. That's the food you were used to having. Those are the types of meals you ate with the grandparents. Those kind of meals you grew up making for yourself. Okay, so that is what I call environmental. So that is the answer to that particular question. So that the question was, does diabetes affect all racial groups equally? And the answer is no. And then it went into some details about the differences of type 1 and type 2. So this book that I read out of, it's an ebook. I can email it to you. If you'd like a copy, just direct message me, and I will get your email and I will send you a copy of this book, 100 Questions and Answers About Diabetes by Dr. Michael Breyer Ash. All right, so that's all I wanted to share with you today. I hope you have a great day today. And I will talk to you next time.